Alright, welcome back. We're going to go ahead and continue that character trace vector art lesson video, tutorial, whatever you want to call it. Alright, now, what I got here, I'm going to go ahead and go new. And just open up a new document here. And as you can see, I got my size set to 1024.768, doesn't matter. I got some document, you got document presets here. If I want to go web, video, film, basic, RGB, whatever, print, you have different sizes you can possibly work with. You have templates and so forth. But let's just go ahead and go, let's go basic RGB, size 800 by 600. 800 by 600 is fine. Or you know what, let's go ahead and keep it at 1024.768. I'm cool with that. If you want, go ahead and name your document. I'm just going to call this food truck because that's what I'm about to trace. I'm going to go ahead and press OK. Here goes our canvas. Now remember, you have your layers and your tool sets just like in Photoshop. Now remember, this video lesson is for my visual communication students in typography class, but which we cover a lot of Illustrator. And some, I like to show some of the cooler side of stuff, the cooler stuff in Illustrator as well. All right, I'm going to go ahead and go File, Place, and I'm going to drop this image I had drawn for a company, which actually is, I got to get it done within, before this Sunday. Go figure. I might as well make a video lesson out of it. All right, actually I'm resizing this by using Shift and Alt so I can uniform scale it. Alright, now this is a drawing that I have just took with a, took a piece of paper from my printer and just had a pen line around, a ballpoint pen. Normally I would draw with a pencil, but I quickly sketched it out. The client wanted a cartoon truck for his food trucks. Obviously those are a really hot thing right now going around here in Las Vegas. You got, not to give out any shout outs, but they're actually pretty cool. There's like Fuka Burger and there's a couple other slider trucks running around. I know there's a group that went to the same art school I went to and just blew up. I forgot what they're called. I'll have to look them back up and give a shout out to them. But some kind of, I think they're slider trucks or something. Anyways, well, this is for a client. He has a slider truck. Well, he has a couple of them, actually, a fleet of them, and he wanted the cartoon type of truck design for part of his logo, I suppose. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and take this drawing here, and I'm going to bring the opacity down. As you can see, I have the opacity. I'm going to bring that down. Say to about 50. Now remember, if you don't see your opacity up there, chances are, you might have a different tool setup. So I'm just going to go to Windows just to show you where you can get that, and it's your transparency, or Shift Control F10 if you can actually remember the hotkey. But just go to transparency, and there you go, you got your opacity there as well. So in case you ever lose it and it's not there, just remember, you always can open up all your Windows tool sets and stuff from right here on top from Illustrator. That goes with like After Effects and Photoshop and all that stuff. Alright, well, I brought down my opacity here. I'll turn on my layers. I'm going to go ahead and double click that. Obviously if we double click those layers, we can name it. I'm just going to call this food truck. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and lock that layer. As you can see, there's a little lock area. That's so I don't grab that. And now right here, I'm going to create a new layer. Now this layer, let's get in the habit of naming our layers. Now this first part, I'm going to build him in sections. Now when you do Illustrator traces, you always build the character in sections. You got to think of him as like a cartoon character that you would normally see on everyday shows. Everything's built on, well, it's stacked in layers. At least when Illustrator art is done. All right, I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and call this the body. Press OK. Now I have this in my body layer. I'm going to go ahead and take my pen tool here. Alright, from here what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to trace the bulk of his body. I mean, at least, if you look at, if you follow my pen tool, it's kind of like a rectangular, I'm going to build the nose. I'm going to consider the nose of the truck separate, you know. Alright, so let's go ahead and start off. I'm going to go ahead and take my fill. I'm going to turn that off. My fill's white. I'm just going to go ahead and X that off, or this little tool right here. And that turns off the fill. So I'm just completely working with my stroke. I got my pen tool. Now I'm going to go ahead and click my first starting point. And if I click right about here, and if I hold down, I believe it's, I guess you want to call it your left click, or you know, where your pointer finger clicks on the mouse. If you hold it down, you can actually see how you can manipulate and shape out that line. Obviously the butt end of the truck is kind of round, so I'm going to click right there. Now if I hold down Alt, you notice my cursor changes when I'm around tangent handles. These are your tangent handles. If I hold down Alt, I can, you know, I'm able to grab them and manipulate them. What I'm going to go ahead and do is reset that. I'm going to go right here to that point, hit Alt and click, and that resets that tangent handle. That way I can create a new line and have a little more control. And I'll explain why I'm doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and click right here. You know, I'm following that curve. The tangent handle seems to be fine. I'm pretty sure it's fine from here. So if I click on this point, let's say about right here, I have control of it. That looks pretty good. Now here's the point where I want to probably reset that. So if I try to click down here, obviously I get this bold. Now, yeah, I can grab that tangent handle and try to reposition it just like that. That works just as fine, you know, or that works just as well. But I'm going to go ahead and, you know, maybe it's just a habit. I'm just going to go ahead and reset that and click, and there we go. I have that right there, and I'm going to go ahead and reset that. And let's go ahead and, you know what? I'm not going to go from there. Actually, you know what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go ahead and just draw him all the way down to say about right here. And you'll see why later on. I'm cutting right through this. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and click there. And let's click here. I'm going to go ahead and reset that. Click there. Let's click here, round them off. As you can see, I'm resetting the tangent handles. I'm going to say about right there. Now I'm going to go here. Resetting that. There we go. And then I'm going to say about right there. And there we go. Alright, so I got my first layer. Now the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and I'm going to, you know, click on my fill and give it a black fill. Alright, and my stroke, you know what? Let's just go ahead and increase that stroke size to about, I don't know, 3 sounds cool. I want to give it a heavier stroke. Now what I'm going to do now is take this graphic, the top graphic. I hit Control C, or, you know, if you want, you can go Edit, Copy. And then I'm going to go Edit, Paste in front, or it's Control F. Now what I did now is just, you know, I have two of the same graphic on top of each other. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and take the first graphic. I am turning off that stroke. And then I'm going to change my color. And now I'm looking for a gray color. Now, gray color is kind of hard to find. You know, I mean, it's on black, but if you can actually click it and get a gray, you know, I always found that kind of difficult. So I'm just going to go to my color swatch here and hit gray. And, well, let's make sure we're not on our stroke. Let's get our fill. I'm clicking on fill. Color swatch, let's go with a gray. I figure I'm going to go with like a gray look to this truck. I may eventually change that to white. I don't know. Alright, but now I have the line variations I can work with. I'm actually going to give this a little bit of thicker lines. So I'm clicking on the front graphic and I'm just going to reposition those. Just to give it a little more, you know, just a little more style to them. And like I said, we're going to cover some of this up, certain areas of it up, so it won't matter that he's, you know, we have this drawn way down here. Or, you know, this whole piece right here. Now, if I do make a mistake earlier on, then we'll just correct it as we go. Let me zoom up. I'm going to take my pen or my magnifying. Let's zoom up on this piece. That way we can you know, just have a little bit more control of what's going on. You know what? Let's give him a little more line variation in the back. I think that's pretty cool. I guess, you know, I just want to give it some variation. By the way, I'm holding, I'm hitting spacebar to, you know, to sit here and recontrol, you know, to reposition that. All right, next thing I'm gonna do now is here's the pattern I want you to get used to. We have the first line art down, or first shape down. I'm gonna go ahead and take my black arrow. I'm gonna highlight that. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is take my opacity, bring it down, so we can actually see what we're going to be tracing next. And then go back to my layers. And so far we have the body. You know, if it helps, go ahead and lock it. We can always unlock it later. And I am going to create a new layer. And, you know, we're going to do his nose next. So I'm going to call this the nose of the truck, I guess. That's fine. All right. Yeah, we'll start that one next here in a second.